Hey peeps, and welcome to another anime listing. This is part 2 of my fantasy anime list, as promised sometime last week. Also keep in mind that since this is part 2, it will be a continuation of my previous video, which can be found in the form of a link in the description below. Remember, these are fantasy animes, and so are animes which will differ slightly from the world of ours. In other words, if you take a poo in this world, it will have to go to the sewage training system. But if you take a poo in the fantasy world, it may evolve into the Byakugan and give you these awesome superpowers. Fantasy is so unreal, but that's the awesomeness of it. Now let's finish this list. Okay, this is an anime which I love, no, which I adore. Yeah, sure, the art style may seem a bit old, but if we judge everything based on looks, I would not have watched the amount of anime which I have seen today. This is a very actiony anime with a lot of fantasy which comes in the form of elemental powers, but don't let the whole cliche power up bullshit push you away, cause if you did, you'll be throwing away a really awesome anime. Like seriously, it's freaking amazing. This anime is set in modern times Japan, with there being hints of the past which can be seen through the whole clan concept, which holds a key part into this anime. There are also people with powers known as contractors, who have an elemental attribute such as fire or water. Our main protagonist comes from a legendary clan of fire contractors, but got kicked out when he was younger due to him not be able to use the elemental fire. He then comes back in an old and completely badass form and pretty much defeats his father, who is the clan's strongest contractor after he returns to Japan. The current clan's head sees him as a possible ally, and much to him and his daughter's dismay, their head tries to hook them up together by getting them to do various missions just so that there could be some ring popping. The guy then tried to get them to get drunk so that they could do the deed and plant the seed, if you catch my drift. Of course, that is not the main plot. Of course, the main plot is the whole idea of the clan getting picked off one by one, and he just coming in to help, not because he wants to, but because he's getting paid to. This anime is one which you must see, as not only does it have all that fantasy and action which you crave, but it also contains a tad of romance and a fire blast of comedy. It's definitely worth a watch. This was a full 2014 anime and one of the best animes of that year. The only is a packed with fantasy based, powered with action, sprinkled lightly in comedy. It's set in a fantasy-like world in the past, where there are empires and shit. Heck, the main character is the princess of the empire, where the majority of the anime takes place. It's about a princess who lives a pretty comfortable life, because that's what you do when you're a princess. You know, you're rich and shit. Of course you're gonna live a comfortable life. You're not gonna live as a peasant. Anyway, the next thing she knows, she is betrayed by her cousin, and also who is also a childhood friend, who ends up taking her father's life so that he could rule the kingdom. Some childhood friend. Then again, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure most of my friends would end up killing me. So I'm not sure if it's because I'm a dick, or who knows. Anyway, she was not supposed to find out, but she did, and now she's on the run with her other childhood friend, who is her perverted bodyguard, but a pretty badass bodyguard nevertheless. She then makes a quest in search of power to overthrow her cousin and reclaim her empire, and so she goes on a quest with her badass and fairly perverted bodyguard in an attempt to find this power by seeking out the dragon warriors, who are said to possess the power of dragons. Well, don't worry, it's none of that elemental cliche bullshit. Then again, it's a dragon power cliche bullshit. Then again, it does pull off quite well. It's a great fantasy anime which spans out over 24 episodes, and the princess character's development in the story is really something to look forward to, as she goes from a rich and luxury bitch to a poor one. But be sure to try it out, and don't worry, the art style is so on point that you don't need to cry. Have you ever heard people say that they don't trust anyone? No? Well then this anime is perfect for you. It will mess you up to the point that you won't even trust your own hands. Heck, for all you know, they'll keep trying to strangle you to death right now if they could. Then again, maybe they can. Who knows? This anime is basically about 6 heroes known as the Brave or 6 Flowers, who will come together from different parts of the continent to defeat the Demon King and vanish him for another 300 years or so through the power of the Saint. This anime had a very weird way about going about things, and it's understandable to why people won't give it a glance longer than the first episode or two, but it kicks off halfway through. Yes, it has an extremely slow and pretty shitty start, I agree with you there, but if you can make it through the first 6 episodes, then it will no longer be a struggle, but a freaking joy to watch. You're probably thinking why it's even on this list in the first place if half of it's shit. Well, that's just for the climax, cause when it releases you feel all these sweaty emotions. And if you don't give it a go, well, simple really, there is no sweaty release for you. Sweaty release. This anime is set in a world where a guy called Aladdin exists, a mythical tower is known as dungeon, which when someone clears they are granted unimaginable powers and wealth also exists. The story at first was fairly confusing to know, as it was actually hard to understand who it actually revolves around, but as it continued you learn that our main protagonist is actually a guy called Alibaba, who is helped out by a pretty mystical powerful perverted little kid known as Aladdin. Don't get this Aladdin mixed up with the Disney Aladdin, because let's face it, they are completely different people. I mean, let's look at it like this. Aladdin from the Disney was a wimpy ass teen who got the hots for some princess, But this kid, well, this kid is a pervert who loves hugging breasts of both male and female. I am not even kidding. Anyway, it's about a kid known as Alibaba who went from poor to rich and powerful to poor and then powerful again throughout the anime, as the things which he fights for changes. It's an anime which does drop a lot of shit on you, but not so much that it's hard to imagine that it's actually true. On his quest to become rich, he clears a dungeon, and instead of leading the higher life, he leads the low life and then changes back as he tries to save the world from falling into chaos and darkness. He gets helped out by Aladdin, who is someone known as the Magi, who are beings with unimaginable power and can control the mystical power called Ru, and helps Alibaba in his quest. It's an anime which relies heavily on friendship, even though it does have dark scenes in it as well, and is a very heartwarming anime. I even think I had tears in my eyes at one point while watching this anime, but I'm pretty sure that's just the cause of my brother's fart. Who knows? If you asked me about a month or two ago about this anime, I would have said, hell no, I ain't watching no clap version of SOA. And then I watched it, and I felt like a complete moron. This anime is so good that you have no idea unless you watch it. It's one of those really rare animes which had me laughing silently at just how good it was. This anime takes place in a fancy world of an MMORPG, but then again, which MMO isn't? A fake SOA you say? Absolutely not. The only element which you can see any similarity between the two is the fact that they are both trapped in a game, but that's about it. This anime starts off with them being trapped in an MMO, and even though this was an MMO, not many people have things to do, which led to the world being kind of little sketchy and dangerous, especially with players killing other players, which is known as PKing. It's seen as a world where the strong survive and the weak get devoured. Guilds and stuff exist, but our MC does not take part in any of them, but instead is known for being in a famous party who do almost impossible quests. One of my favourite things about this anime is the fact that we don't have our typical idiotic or wimpy MC. In fact, he's a cool dude who works with the power of the brain and is even seen as a strategist. He even plays the role of an enchanter in the game. He noticed the fact that everything is sketchy and dangerous and makes an aim to make the MMO, which he refers to as the new reality, as a more player friendly and habitable place, which he does through the power of the brain. This really is an amazing anime, and a great fantasy one at that. It has a huge aspect of comedy, which just makes it even better, and the characters are quite a lively bunch, definitely a group which you will remember. This anime is freaking awesome, and for some reason it's like SAO and Fairy Tail has sex to produce it. This is an anime which you must give it a go. Your joy depends on it, and don't use that as a clap version of SAO as an excuse, because they really are nothing alike. Well, that's about all for this video. Hopefully you'll be going away with at least one anime which you're going to give it a go. And if that's the case, and if you enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up, as it's really appreciated. For the next video, I'm thinking something along the lines of psychological, or I may go and do a comedy one, cause who don't want a good laugh every now and then. But who knows, knowing me, I'll probably decide on it by a flip of a coin. Anyway, please do tell me your thoughts on the video and what your favourite fantasy anime listing is, because I would love to know. And if you did enjoy the top listing of anime and are looking for more top listing of anime, then please do subscribe for more. With that said, see ya peeps!